Listen, I hope y'all WNBA players is paying attention. They will replace y'all asses. They have Caitlin Clark. They have Paige Beckers under contract. They have Angel Reese. They have replacement players they can go get. They have a slew of rookies they are about to draft.
Ladies and gentlemen,
so we're watching the most insane justice served moment in sports history unfold right before our eyes on live TV. For the past 2 years, WNBA veterans, the self-proclaimed queens of the game, launched this relentless assault of dirty plays, bitter jealousy, and straight-up sabotage targeting Caitlin Clark. They hammered her physically during games, tried breaking her mentally through media attacks, blocked her Olympic team shot, thinking if they made her miserable enough, they could steal her shine and maintain their grip on power. Well, guess what? Payback time just arrived, and it's taking absolutely everything from them. We've got stone cold proof that the real decision makers, WNBA ownership, NBC Universal, plus Peacock streaming, have strategically chosen to completely abandon these bitter veterans and go all in on the Caitlin Clark empire. This isn't speculation anymore. They genuinely lost it all, and this wasn't some unlucky break. They destroyed themselves because their poison attitude made them toxic to sponsors, unwatchable for fans, and completely expendable right now while these veterans sit home trapped in this ugly labor fight that could kill their entire season. Caitlin Clark gets the royal treatment at NBA on NBC events, cracking jokes with Hall of Famers, inking monster contracts, and literally becoming America's basketball fate. Their master plan to crush her didn't just crash and burn, it exploded so magnificently that it wiped out the careers of every single person who conspired against her.
WNBA, NBC, Peacock, they're pushing on and moving on with their promo, regardless if y'all signing this deal or not, because I'm pretty sure they got a contingency plan in place. They have a contingency plan.
Let me break down just how massive this power shift really is. NBC and Peacock dropped serious cash on this joint NBA and WNBA media package. Normally when networks make moves like this, they spend months hyping up league history, booking veteran star interviews, and celebrating the game's legend. But check out what's actually going down. NBC isn't dialing up Diana Taurasi. They're not reaching out to Breanna Stewart. They're completely ignoring the players who spent 12 months trash talking on every podcast they could find. Instead, they're speed dialing exactly one person, Caitlin Clark. They've brought her on as their special NBA coverage contributor. This sends a crystal clear message. NBC executives crunch the numbers. They analyze social media buzz. Most importantly though, they witnessed all that dirty behavior firsthand. They saw those cheap shots happen. They watched the resentment boil over. Then they decided they absolutely refuse to promote this toxic jealousy brand. They want the business of pure joy, incredible shots, and massive ratings. Caitlin Clark embodies tomorrow, this positive, elite skill, fan-loving product. These veterans represent yesterday, this angry, exclusive gatekeeping circle that despises its own supporters. NBC made a cold business call to dump the dead weight, and that dead weight happens to be the entire WNBA old school establishment.
See, sports, what they did is they flexed on them, okay? They flexed on them. Here it says, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. The WNBA is coming to NBC and Peacock. So
now let's really examine why this transformation is happening at this exact moment. WNBA owners find themselves locked in this brutal standoff with their Players Association. Players are threatening strike action. They're demanding 30% revenue sharing. They want millions more in salary bumps. And who's spearheading this whole campaign? The veterans. Those exact same veterans who refuse to embrace what Caitlin Clark brings to the table. Owners are hearing these demands and just laughing out loud. Why? Because they understand the real situation. They know without Caitlin Clark in the mix, there's literally no revenue worth sharing. They realize nobody's purchasing Peacock subscriptions to watch the players who knocked Caitlin around. People buy Peacock specifically to watch Caitlin perform. So ownership and networks formed this strategic partnership. They figured out they don't actually need the WNBA as one big collective to generate profits. They just need the Caitlin Clark experience. By handing her this NBC platform completely separate from WNBA seasons, they've protected their most valuable asset from all the league drama. When veterans choose to strike, perfect. Let them walk away. Caitlyn will be broadcasting every Sunday night breaking down LeBron's highlights. She comes out ahead no matter what happens. Veterans tried playing hardball with their golden ticket and now they're going hungry.
Absolute abomination. Nike dropping the ball. Here it says Nike confirmed to Adweek it will not run a commercial during Super Bowl 60 this year, so there won't be a Nike X Caitlin Clark spot during the game. Listen, man, this don't.
Caitlin Clark's signature shoe line is about to launch. These corporate executives are absolutely ruthless. They obsess over one thing only, getting subscribers and keeping them hooked. So who actually drives subscription numbers? Is it players complaining about travel conditions while insulting new fans? Absolutely not. It's the player draining shots from the logo while staying completely humble. Peacock has basically abandoned the idea of marketing the WNBA as this diverse league showcase. Have you checked out their promotional content? It's pure Caitlyn focus. It's built around Caitlyn's brand. Other players got demoted to background dancers in what should be their own spotlight. This directly results from their toxic approach. When you waste an entire year convincing everyone that Caitlyn isn't special or needs to earn her stripes, you're basically telling fans to ignore her. Well, surprised, the audience actually listened. They couldn't care less about these veterans. They only support the player those veterans tried destroying. Veterans attempted to gatekeep their league. All they accomplished was trapping themselves inside this collapsing situation while Caitlyn strolled out the exit holding all the power. Just imagine the mental damage this creates for the old guard. Picture being a decade-long veteran with multiple championships, then watching NBC fly Caitlin Clark to Madison Square Garden for prime seats next to Vince Carter and Carmelo Anthony, while you're home wondering if your next paycheck will actually arrive. This has to be absolutely devastating. But they created this mess themselves. If they had embraced her arrival, if they had guided her development, if they had understood that success benefits everyone, they'd be sharing that spotlight. They'd be landing those endorsement packages. They'd be getting NBC airtime, but their pride wouldn't let it happen. Jealousy completely blinded their judgment. They picked petty complaints over life-changing money. Now NBC has simply moved forward without them. The network discovered that Caitlin Clark operates beyond WNBA boundaries. She's outgrown the league itself. She's bigger than these veterans. She's this cultural force that doesn't need anyone's approval to thrive. Their toxic behavior wasn't just about physical contact. This was institutional sabotage. Referees ignored obvious fouls. Coaches made cutting remarks during press meetings. Former stars hit podcast circuits to downplay her achievements. NBC witnessed every bit of this. Corporate sponsors saw everything unfold. You know what corporate America absolutely hates? Risk and liability. These veterans became major liability. They transformed the WNBA into this dramatic soap opera filled with hatred instead of celebrating pure basketball talent. Caitlyn never spoke negatively about anyone. She avoided all the manufactured drama and simply competed. She showed up consistently. She signed every autograph. She honored the game completely. NBC is recognizing that professionalism. They're showing the world that integrity actually matters. They're supporting the fans who defended Caitlyn throughout these past 2 years. This veteran abandonment represents NBC's official endorsement of Caitlyn's character and their complete rejection of veteran behavior patterns. What happens next? This NBC and Peacock strategy signals one era ending completely. The time of gatekeeping veterans is officially over. Future stars wanting league recognition better align with this new direction. Ownership is clearly finished babying players who damage league progress. By elevating Caitlyn so publicly, they're removing power from the union structure. Union leaders can threaten strikes endlessly, but when the league's biggest face already works for NBC, their negotiating power vanishes. Owners discovered how to sidestep all the toxicity. They built this direct connection between Caitlyn and supporters. No more bitter intermediaries needed. Veterans are now shouting into empty space. They can organize protests. They can complain on social platforms, but they cannot derail this momentum. The machine selected its leader, and that leader is Iowa's finest export. This becomes a humility masterclass that future generations will study. WNBA veterans held the ultimate winning ticket in their possession. They only needed to smile and say, "Welcome aboard, Caitlyn." Instead, they shredded that ticket and threw pieces in her direction. Now they watch her create her own wealth while they scramble for leftover opportunity. This tragedy was completely self-inflicted. They lost the media battle. They lost fan support. Now they've lost the financial war entirely. NBC and Peacock have made their choice. Ownership has decided. Supporters have voted with their wallets. The WNBA stopped being about player democracy. This is now Caitlyn's empire. For those veterans who used their toxic tactics trying to destroy her, the only remaining option is disappearing into irrelevance. They attempted canceling Caitlin Clark, but ultimately they only canceled their own future. The revolution gets broadcast on NBC and these veterans won't even receive invitations to witness their own downfall.